There is, by the way, a preparation of whole marijuana being developed in England called Sativex. That's a spray that you spray under the tongue. I think that would make it much more medically respectable and more usable by physicians.
In a sense, is that what you think needs to happen, that some pharmaceutical company has to come up with some way to make marijuana respectable?
Yeah, now I don't think that means, by the way, making the high go away, because the high, the effect on mood may be a desirable effect, especially for people with terminal illness. I do, however, think that there needs to be some better way of cleanly distinguishing between medical use and recreational use. And at the moment, I think that boundary is very blurred.
In and of itself, do you believe marijuana is an especially harmful drug?
No, in purely medical terms, physical terms, I think it's one of the least harmful drugs that we know of, and much less harmful than most drugs used in medicine, and much, much less harmful than the recreational drugs that we have made legal in this country, especially alcohol and tobacco.
Why do we...
I think the opposition... Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, why do we... I mean, it's interesting to watch other countries, other cultures deal with this, and often deal with it quite differently from the way we do. Why do we seem to struggle with it so?
I think it's because people react to marijuana as a symbol rather than as a thing in itself. And marijuana in this society has always been associated with deviant subcultures, originally with black jazz musicians in the South, with Mexican migrant laborers, later with bohemians, beatniks, then in the 60s, hippies, radicals, the counterculture. It's always had associations with deviant subcultures, and I think that's what people react to. When you listen to what I would call fanatical extremist groups like the Partnership for a Drug-Free America, that reaction is to that aspect of marijuana, the symbolic aspect of it.
I think that the Partnership for a Drug-Free America would make an argument, and it's not a wholly unsupportable argument, that the last thing the culture needs is one more drug out there for people to use and abuse.
And I would also say that the idea of creating a drug-free America is laughable. We have never been a drug-free America. We never will be. We are awash in drugs, both legal and illegal. It's always going to be that way. Of the drugs that people use, marijuana, I think, is one of the least worrisome in medical terms, and I think it's one that has significant medical potential. It would be absolutely silly for us to reject that medical potential. And I really think it's up to the medical profession to decide whether to use this substance and how to use it.
Just one more area here. I'm sure you've thought about this. If you go back to the beginning of time, I suspect you would find that in every culture where they could figure it out, there was some drug, a mushroom, a drink, a plant, whatever, that altered people's feelings. Have you ever wondered what it is about humans that want that?
I have. In fact, I wrote a book about that in 1972 called The Natural Mind, which argues that the desire to alter consciousness is something that's basically human. I think it's connected with our creativity, our desire to know ourselves. I think there's lots of ways you can do that, by the way, not just with drugs, but drugs are very convenient.
Nice to talk to you. Thanks for your time tonight.
Good to talk to you.
Thank you, Dr. Weil. Still